We have an NHL trade to announce. It's a 1-for-1 forward swap between the St. Louis Blues and the Detroit Red Wings. We'll get into all the details of the trade and discuss who wins this deal coming up next. So welcome back here to Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some breaking news from the NHL. We have a trade that has taken place between the St. Louis Blues and the Detroit Red Wings. Now, where I'm located, this deal was announced really late last night. It was between 12:30 and 1 o'clock a.m. So, of course, I was fast asleep for the night. I did not expect any news to be happening that time of night, but, of course, here we go. So we have a 1-for-1 forward swap of Jacob de la Rose going from Detroit over to St. Louis in exchange for forward Robbi Fabbri. So in a sense, you could say this is almost like a swap of struggling players. I mean, Robbi Fabbri came into the NHL with a lot of promise, a lot of potential. He was a 2014 first-round selection. He's now on a one-year contract, making $900,000. Of course, he had an excellent rookie start back in 2015, putting up 18 goals, 37 points. The next year, he was doing okay as well, putting up 29 points in 51 games, and then he got hurt, and really, it's all been downhill from there. He missed the better part of almost 2 seasons, like about a season and a half with some major knee injuries. And really, since he's come back, he has not really been able to get things back on track. He's played in 9 games for the Blues this year, only putting up 1 goal, and essentially the Blues have come to the conclusion after all this time and opportunities that things are just not going to work out with Robbi Fabbri, so they ship him off to Detroit. Now, so in exchange, the St. Louis Blues pick up Jacob de la Rose, who he himself was a second-round selection of the Habs back in 2013, been with Detroit most recently, not exactly letting it up offensively, but that's not really his forte, not exactly his main type of player. He's good size, physical, bottom 6 winger, can be a little bit more defensive. Fabbri and de la Rose are very different types of players, so clearly Fabbri in his days before the injuries was known as somebody with a lot of speed, a lot of skill, somebody who could score some goals, so where de la Rose is a different kind of player. So essentially St. Louis is trading him for a fresh start in Detroit in exchange for somebody who can play a bottom 6 role, play a physical play, and kind of fill in a completely different capacity here. Of course, Detroit is going through a rebuild right now, so giving Fabbri an opportunity to play with a lot of their other young forwards might be the break that he needs, but I think at this point we can all fairly say that injuries have really taken its toll on Robbi Fabbri, and it's really difficult to say with any kind of certainty that he will be able to resurrect his NHL career to get himself back on track and fulfill that potential that we all saw a number of years ago. But either way, it gives these guys another fresh start here and an opportunity to get things back on track and try to secure a more regular NHL opportunity. In my opinion, I'm going to say Detroit wins this trade because they have an opportunity here to get to resurrect the career of Robbi Fabbri, who's, like I said, known for speed, skill, and goal scoring, whereas de la Rose is certainly not going to provide that. He's a bigger, more physical defensive player. His career high is 12 points, so clearly, like I said, you're not going to be expecting a whole lot in the way of offense out of him. St. Louis already has some other guys in their bottom 6 who can play that type of role, so it will add a little bit to their depth. I'm not really sure he's going to get a big opportunity to play too regularly in that Blues lineup, but I guess we'll see how they decide to utilize him. But longer term, I do think there's a possibility here if Fabbri can get things back on track that Detroit could win this trade. But of course, as always, want to know what you think down in the comment section. Who wins this trade? Do you see a fresh start for either player really helping them get their careers on track and securing a regular NHL role? If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.